Today I want to talk about Dave Aranda as the new head coach at Baylor and how recruiting is really going to be his test. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Dave Aranda, who was hired as the new head coach at Baylor on Thursday afternoon after winning the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship with an outstanding defense that had 7 underclassmen declare for the NFL draft, including the number 1 defense back in the country, according to those of us on the Jim Thorpe Award Committee. That'd be, I'm on it. Grant Delpit won the award. Shouts to him. He had the leading tackler in the SEC with Jacob Phillips at 113. Pat Queen, all hail him. He was outstanding in this game. We know what kind of defense he put out there, and this guy has been nothing short of a defensive mastermind. Depending on who you talk to, he's probably the best one doing it right now. Coming up with Ron Roberts at Delta State along with Pete Golding, who was at Alabama. You saw what he was able to do at Utah. You saw what he was able to do at Wisconsin, and you have seen what he's been able to do at LSU. Very excited about Dave Aranda becoming the head coach at Baylor. Now, the problem that he's going to run into after putting his staff together, we need to get into. But first, I want to talk about just how great he has been at LSU. Now, Dave Aranda has been coaching for 24 years, which means he got started at 19 because he had to. He tore up his shoulder while playing linebacker and guard in high school. 6 shoulder operations made sure he'd never wear a set of shoulder pads in college and don every hat as a head coach. Look, man's been a team videographer, undergrad position coach, graduate assistant. He jumped into his car to visit places within driving distance like Arizona State, UCLA, and of course USC. He met defensive grad assistant coach Dave Doran there, who's now the head coach of North Carolina State, and got to know the defensive line coach there, a fellow by the name of Ed Orgeron. When Aranda finally got a chance to call defense, he put together some of the best in the last decade. In 6 seasons as defense coordinator at a Power 5 conference school, Aranda's defenses have been ranked in the top 12 nationally in total yards 5 times. His defenses have also been among the top 10 in scoring for the past 7 years. Since taking over as defense coordinator at Utah State in 2014, Aranda's defenses have given up a touchdown or less in 48 of 108 games. That's bonkers. But then you add to that what he's done at LSU, final 5 games there, 2019. They won the SEC championship game, college football playoff, and allowed just 18 points per game with wins over number 3 Clemson, number 4 Oklahoma, and number 4 Georgia, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. In that stretch, the Tigers defense gave up just 295 yards per game on average and allowed for, forget the touchdowns. They had 6 interceptions in that span, man. What are we talking about here? In his first 3 years as defense coordinator with the Tigers, Aranda saw 9 of his players selected in the NFL draft, including first-round picks Devin White, Tre'Davious White, and Jamal Adams. In addition to draft picks, 6 more of his defenders were on NFL rosters as free agents. He saw 6 of his players get drafted. It stops at Hawaii, Utah, and Wisconsin. And as he has become the best defensive coordinator this side of Brent Venables, you also saw the LSU Tigers went 42-11 during his stretch there. Now for LSU, this is another blow in a week of blows. You have your passing game coordinator take a job in the NFL. You have your defense coordinator take the head coach job at Baylor. You saw one of your best and most well-known alumnus in Odell Beckham Jr. rip off the grip, hand out stacks, and then slap a cop on the behind and get arrested for his trouble, and there's warrants out there, and now the NCAA is going to get involved, and LSU is going to have to find out how Alabama has been living since 2009. What happens when you win a national championship? People raid your staff, and now Ed Orgeron gets to figure out whether or not he is as good as Nick Saban or Urban Meyer and puts the program truly on his shoulders to try to get them back into the playoff and have a chance at defending their national championship. But the SEC is loaded, man. I'm going to talk about Todd Monken becoming the offensive coordinator at Georgia in another upload. But sticking with Dave Aranda, the challenge for him is going to be recruiting. Baylor is not a recruiting juggernaut, people, all right? The 2020 class ranks 10 out of 10 in the Big 12 in the recruiting rankings. Not even a top 50 recruiting class. The highest ranked commit to their class. James Sylvester's ranked 316th in the country. Now, rankings and the numbers don't mean a whole lot to you, perhaps, but they are a good predictor of success. And what Matt Rule was able to do with guys like Joe McGuire, who I hope Aranda gives an opportunity to stay on staff with him, is develop those cats into world beaters, right? James Lynch is probably going to get drafted in the first or second round, with the best defensive lineman in the Big 12 last year. We saw what he was able to build around with Charlie Brewer and Denzel Mims. You saw what Jacob Zener could be. I know that Ed Orgeron is an outstanding recruiter, and he's always going to have an edge on most people when it comes to that. But Dave Aranda is going to have to get out there and beat the pavement, do some of this head coaching stuff, and not so be caught up in the football strategy of things, for which I think he's going to call defense. And we get Oklahoma versus Baylor October 3rd in Norman. That's Lincoln Riley versus Dave Aranda round 2. And we're all excited about that. But you're going to have to drill down and go dig around Central Texas and find you some players. And it's not as if Texas is not loaded with talent. We all know it's one of the most talent-rich states in the union when it comes to football. But now Aranda's going to have to compete with Texas, with SMU, with TCU, with North Texas, with Texas A&M, with Houston for players. And that's not going to be an easy win. To say nothing of Louisiana being adjacent, and both LSU and Texas A&M playing in the Southeastern Conference, and the appeal of that conference because it puts more players into the NFL draft than any other conference in football. To say nothing of Baylor has to go up against not just Oklahoma, but Texas. Kansas State is on its way up. Kansas is no longer a traditional doormat. Neil Brown has West Virginia going in the right direction. We'll see what Texas Christian is able to do since they hired Jerry Kill to come on to help, I guess, Sonny Cumbie. But it's not going to be easy for him to come back with another 11-win season after what you saw Matt Rule was able to overperform and outkick. And I don't know that Baylor is the one place that Dave Aranda wants to live and stay. But if he's going to do it, he's going to have to recruit. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.